and also all of those huts that are all around that area too here. So definitely expecting for them to most likely get some decent loot here. And it looks like some are trying to go straight for the jugular, depending on where some of these players are landing here. So let's see kind of what they're doing here. And let's see how they're going to be able to hold strong here, as one of them is actually caught in between one. At first, I actually didn't think he had a weapon here, but GG Shaw does have one, though. And it looks like now that blue charge strike trying to wait for both of them, as AS actually misses the blue focus. And just like that, has to go for the shield swap, finds it. And it's going to continue here. The question is it going to continue to push on Shaw? Probably not. It might be a little too early to push on that. And I think AS is going to retreat off that and back off.
Yeah. And Process is right next door coming out here from the crater. And he's got around 30% rage right now. So kind of not been able to find a Firefly just yet. I think he's trying to make his rotation towards the forest line to see if there's any Fireflies through there. But as we saw, back off is coming in from both Shaw and whatnot. Now, into Zest Winery. Pace versus Cam 1 versus Reishi versus Railgun into vicinities of the Zest Winery. The bell has been struck, as I just heard, but I'm not sure as to who's going to be the one victim to be locked down here, because Pace has a purple pole sword. He is Akos. He's got a Firefly on stand, but he already picked up one Firefly. Now he just needs to deal a little bit of damage here and there and just trying to earn up that rage damage up for his ultimate to be available. But Cam 1 gets locked down here because he's struggling to kind of go for the F2 into uppercut. The F1 coming in from Cam 1 as a combo breaker and gets out of sky high position, just backing off from this whole condition of a third party potential. As you can see, Pace is looking to hunt this one down against both Stragon and his opponent Suishi.
Looks like they're going to be able to try to work toward this momentum here. See if any of them really does become a benefit, though. I think that's going to be realistically the biggest thing for some of these players and how they have been playing overall here. What kind of makes sense for some of them here is both that momentum really does start to become a wild factor, depending on what we're talking about and where that situation kind of is. Obviously, the nice strikes trying to see if maybe anything relatively becomes a favorited moment. Doesn't necessarily look like it currently, but stranger things have happened and crazier things can even happen. BST going for the heals, and then obviously with X-Shin, it looks like X-Shin was caught in between a fight earlier here as GG Shaw was chasing, and looks like they might have lost him here. X-Shin might have been able to get out of here.
Yeah, I think they came from victim save and trying to go for that loop pattern and just walking their way down towards from the Islet Crater. Now, CDY having to go towards now into the Zest Winery. A lot of players making a rotation to Zest Winery. Everyone's like, hey, yo, have a good time, you know?
Zest Winery, especially for the solo stature, has been one of the top places for a lot of these players to really go. It's been such a prime space, especially in the solos. You know, I don't know necessarily if it's the loot pool. I feel like the loot pool definitely has something to do with it, but definitely been a place where there's a lot of open area for certain fights to go, but it's also a great place for maneuvering, knowing that everything is kind of close together. And, you know, it's kind of one of those things where I feel like a lot of people are more so used to it in terms of movement, how to be able to, you know, just move around that area and really not get caught up in some tough situations here.
Yeah, tough situations coming out here as Cam 1 is going to get locked through. He uses combo breaker, and this forces everyone to kind of take the chances of locking him down. There's GG Shaw finding the elimination for himself. Hot take on the fly. I was just thinking about Zest Winery, and I was like, man, you know what? Zest Winery is like the Rust off of Modern Warfare.
Oh,
yeah, selection, right? It's like kind of close knitted, and then having a center building to kind of climb off of, and then just being able to kind of find corners off the edges of just finding protection here and there between the pipelines. In which case, that's the buildings that have L-shaped buildings. So for that to be made, the analogy is set. Now into Artisan's Grove, aka Moneytown. After Cam 1's the elimination, these teammates or the players are actually going to be going ahead, splitting out. The teams themselves are just trying to looking to see and lock down someone. Now Paced fighting out CDY here, investing the F1 and trying to knock back and go for those bow shots is not going to allow Fang to look for this chase off of against Pace. Now Pace taking a lot of bit of damage here, and CDY finds his new opponent, Wei Shi, as the Akos coming out for the bow shots and the can shots and everything coming out from everybody who try to focus on the lone target into this field of desperation. He's going to be looking to try to back off here. As long as he doesn't need to use ultimate to get away and backing off. There's a horizontal block extreme. There's the F1, pushes it into place. The X now finding this chance, and that's an ultimate cast here. Has to be careful. Going to get caught into the uppercut, and that's going to be a chance here. If anyone can find the target after the ultimate cast, will they catch him now?
You see how he backs off that game though? He realizes that too, because he's seen a lot of these players like really get caught up in some tough and insane situations here that none of them really have an opportunity to really get out of here. This was definitely a smart move by him though, to realize that opportunity and says, hey, I got to dip out of here. I don't think this is the move for me. This is definitely going to hurt me more than it is going to help me. And I think he notices that, and I think that's definitely going to be a wise decision for him, knowing that there's so many fights happening all around him here, and it really can still be a tough space for him to be in these areas here, knowing everybody is absolutely going for the jug right now.
Dude, the fact that CDY was able to find his way into finding an armor into the F1 usage and just getting out the building just in the nick of time could avoid everybody who was hunting him initially. He's out. But I digress. Apparently, JJH's Star looking to hunt him down. But in the meantime, we're going to see Pace here get caught out here by getting eliminated by GG Shaw. Star finding the elimination of CDY. First elimination for CDY, mind you, folks, that he's going to still have a life left onto the board. But GG Shaw finds his second elimination after knocking out the nearby opponent Pace for that arm from the staff. Now, Sledger's now closing out. The Shadow's going to be converging. AS finds his freeze off a shot into the zone. So that's going to be the second elimination for AS. Yes, it is. So he's going to be able to pick up that one. And going back into the ravine is going to be a good play for marks of these players to reach into the Roman Yang. That is going to be spawning here in just a moment. Tessa Enchant coming out here, left field, wild haymaker into the vicinity. It's going to be a dangerous predicament coming out into Roman Yang if that was their intention, if they had missed that ultimate early on.
Yeah. Really an unfortunate one, though. Hopefully they realize that as well here, and hopefully won't be able to give that opportunity again, because sometimes that can really hurt for certain people, depending on what you are doing, especially with that amount of timing here. As looks like Wolves, maybe, no. I thought he was going to try to push in towards Realm of Yang here, but with that Gray Shield, I don't think he's going to have a really great advantage here. Realizes he doesn't have anything necessarily too good that's going to help benefit him in this moment here, and realizes it's probably not the best for him to go through. Meanwhile, we have BBE and Alliance and TE and Fun plus Phoenix fighting it out in the Realm of Yang here. Going to be a good one here for at least both of them here. I think this is probably a rematch here, as we've seen before. I think this was Esrael that ended up winning the first one between him and Junshi. Now let's see if he's going to be able to repeat it again, or is Junshi going to get a little bit of payback? Nice hits both towards each side here. Nice dodge. Going to be able to capture Esrael all the way up in the sky here. Almost misses with the dodge here. Nice defense coming in from Esrael here. Trying to see if he can keep that going. Nice blue charge. Trying to see if he can connect it. Almost pops the ulti here. And it looks like he's going to time it just right. Oh, yeah, he does. Esrael times it. Absolutely crushes him with the chains. The justice of Halls. As now he's going to try to see if he can time this right with the strike of the Tiger. Not enough, though. Both the shield able to do a lot of work here. Junshi just dodging enough where he doesn't get caught by the dagger. And Junshi's just trying to get a little bit more of that process. Oh, nice hit coming through here as he's almost able to actually finish this off here. Dangerously low on both sides here. He's going to keep the same aggression towards both players here. This really can be any one of them, and it doesn't matter, though, as he ends up hitting him with the chain, hits the pull-off, and gets the finish.
Big chances off the Roman Yang. Zakame in the fight against DRG Fong and has the ultimate proc just in case the damage goes past the enchant, but nice damage output from Fong as he was able to initiate a little bit of damage before he can unleash the full blue focus and get as much priority of the health bar to be diminished as possible. Now, Akame has his V1, has his F2, so if anything comes out against the Tessa, right, it's got to watch out here for the second ultimate cast, but Akame using the F2 on the ground unit duty, looking for the scare rush to kind of close out the distance. He's going to reduce the cooldown. He's still got a V1 still available, but Fang is not hitting him until the duration of his ultimate is done, which is going to be right then and here. 25 seconds on the clock here. We're going to see Akame looking for the scare rush again and again and again. F2 is available. Scare rush is confirmed from Fang. Stoneform released, throws the blue in the opposite direction, which is a good chance here, but there's going to be a lot of time burnt out. There's the shunts again and again, but the ultimate cast comes out. This is what Fang was looking for. F2, F1 investment. Obviously, we're having to be careful here, Akame. Up, uppercut, RMB, kill potential.
Oh.
Fang has his purple armor, finds his gold weapon.
Reads it.
Go outside the Roman Yang.
Look at you sounding like a coach. He said uppercut, left side. You almost got it. Time it right. At left, right, up, down. X, Y, B, B. And I'm like,
1, 2, 3. Really?
1, 2, 3. Hit the release. Don't do that. Nope. Bad timing. Oh, you just missed it. Wait. Hold on.
Back up, back up, back up.
Oh.
He's got a pistol. Get out.
Andale. Anyway. Over with that one, though. Still, he's going to be able to find it, though. He does a fantastic job of it, which is exactly what he really needs to do here. Within, honestly, moments like this when it comes to both the character's sake, but also like what they're doing in terms of just that timing is going really well, though. Frostivus trying to keep the game alive. He's up in the lead, 30.9, 28.9. They're doing fantastic up top here. The real battle is going to be between 6th and 7th place here. 21.9 and a 21.1 here as PST. Now looking good for him here as Frostivus might be able to potentially get him out here, but Frostivus dangerously low here. Doesn't necessarily need to force as he pops open the ulti here. goes airborne, takes PST, hits him. He could potentially absolutely ruin this opportunity for PST. As he's going to try to roam this around as much as possible here. The chase absolutely comes as a go for the sake of the tiger here. Or is he going to be able to clutch this up in just the nick of time? Looks like he's going to keep himself alive here as he does find a gray shield swap. It looks like he's going to go all the way down here. Doesn't necessarily want to get caught within this fight here. Trying to time it. Oh, man. This is going to be so hasty for him here. As Frostivus captures the elimination onto PST, ladies and gentlemen. PST is out of this game. Just short of qualifying. Action has a shot. Action has a shot. He needs at least a few eliminations here or to eliminate CDY. For this to basically be a confirmation, unless Junshi, S-Rail, I'll say just Junshi and S-Rail, unless those two decide to pop off and have a 14, 15 plus point game, Action might have actually stayed alive long enough to live through this, as he's going to go outside of the circle here. He's going to force them to come to his lair and his territory here as Junshi caught in between the clock. He's playing desperate into this fight here. 18.7. He needs to try to see if he can get some hits here off this one. If Action actually ends up catching this elimination, this is going to be huge for him here. He catches the stun, but it's not going to be enough here. Oh, no! Akame actually destroys Junshi's shield here. And now he's back in the same position he was just at it when he first started.
Yeah, and I think right then and there, there's a V2 F1 investment from Aizen as the POC happens. Shueisha putting the pressure on. He could force this R&B from Akame to give himself a little bit of advantage. Just the F2. There he is, looking for it. R&B goes for the longsword beam, doesn't catch him. The scare rush comes out here. Aizen's going towards his zone. Zone is going to be his friend here for a couple of seconds as he's going to get hunted down here. Shueisha looking for the last hit confirmation. He can't get it. He's frolicking over the corner, and that's going to be Aizen getting his elimination with the Soul Bloom pickup. Going to be had by Shueisha. He's back in the game, but Akame has ultimate available. We know that he knows that the Aka's ultimate is done, so for Shueisha right now, it's kind of avoiding that stagger potential from the Shayo. He's going to be locking himself through here. There's the first block. Akame has the F2, and that's going to be the knockout for Shueisha into this game for the potential of making pre-finals.
Unfortunate. Junshi is now officially out. Same with PST. Valiant effort from both players here. That is definitely going to be a GG's for those two. And CDY has a shot. He has been in these situations before. He has been so close. This is very dangerous for a man like him. Action is officially out, which means he could get bumped out by Wolves. This is going to be a very, very, very tight-knit game for some of these players here. You love to see it, though, from all of this. Absolutely insane here as S-Rail and Frostivus is going to try to fight this out here. S-Rail down at the very bottom there. He needs his elimination here if he's going to have an opportunity here maybe to clutch this up, but it's not looking good when you're going up against one of the top players. Frostivus, he wants to try to get this dub. He wants to stay in first place. He's going to capture the juggle. S-Rail, nowhere to go, nothing to do, just absolutely in the air, juggling, caught up like, I wonder what happened. Pause the tape. You're probably wondering, wait, you're probably wondering how I ended up here in this situation. Absolutely insane.
You know, it's crazy because CDY didn't get challenged into Romyang, so it's like you saw Aizen's camera. He's like, my hands are behind my head. Like, you know, I can't. I'm trying to hold off and seeing who's gonna react towards another in terms of victory, because all CDY needs is either placement or a kill. Like that's where it's gonna come down. Either we find Sorogan again. We eliminate him, immediate elimination because he isn't able to find a Soul Bloom, right? So that way it's just coming through in terms of no coming back from this one, dog. Because the second Romyang had just occurred. White Tiger's prowess is active. Interesting enough, you know, I know that White Tiger's prowess has that heal back, so the sustained game between both initiating fights and staying within it versus escaping a fight and still getting heal back is such a huge position that you take in. If CDY had picked up a Mystic Might, would have worked out in his favor. For just trying to find one, because I'm like, I'm hoping, you know, it's like my hands are in the air for either or between him making it through with one elimination for placement points, or for someone to, you know, snuff it out. It's obviously up to the case scenario of whether or not Aizen makes it here or not. So, you know, that's your boy, bro. Aizen's right there in the corner. And now we're going to see Strelgan up against AS in a position of Akame and Gigi Shaw and DRG Fang, and just in the vicinity, they can see the bloodlust in the position for them to actually find this one out. And Dabi, I think it might be a chance here for Strelgan to get caught out between the forces of nature.
Not looking good, as the forces of nature is being a musket shot towards the back here, knowing that he's got 2 or 3 people chasing. Ezreal, run! Ezreal trying to run and dodge as much as possible. He ends up getting captured by the stun. He's going to try to see if maybe he could separate and spread out as far as possible, but it's not going to be enough here as Gigi Shaw ends up getting caught here. Oh, nice dodges. Maybe try to keep the game alive for himself here. He's dangerously low, trying to maneuver it, but it's not going to be enough here as Wolves gets the elimination. Ladies and gentlemen, Wolves is qualified. Officially in top 6. 22.6. Barely squeezing out XGen out of this pre-solo final. Ladies and gentlemen, your top 6. Frostivus, Shaw, Star, AS, Fang, and Wolves CDY has done it again. He's back in the finals. Pre-finals.
Pre-finals. Yeah. Big output coming through here.
What an ending.
It was a pistol shot that made it happen. He pulled out the blicky and went pop, pop.
That he did.
Nothing could have stopped him from getting that tap, the double tap. So, with that being said, still got games to go. Still got scores to be earned. Frost was trying to catch another MVP. Would love to see it. Could see it obviously in opposition with it. Shaw's in the same boat. But we see CDY coming here for the White Tigers prowess for a couple of seconds. They're going to dissipate in just a moment. As Frostfist is going to be like, oh, I guess the guy just walked away. But in reality, it's going to be him right up to the pier side, just waiting this one out. 10 minutes on the clock. We got ourselves to wait it out here for both the Moonbanes and the Spirit Wells for these players. If they haven't found the necessary gear for the end game, now would have been the time. But we're chilling. Big energy. And kind of hoping to see what's going to happen for trios tomorrow. Because, you know, off topic with the last chance qualifiers for trios teams, that's even more of like a, oh man, you know, because this is a whole team trying to hold each other together for themselves for pre-finals to make it to the top 12. And Souls is kind of coming through here for those last minute, or rather those like quick-witted predicaments that can happen out of nowhere. Easy dead emotes. It's like you don't know whether or not you're going to be able to catch yourself a break by catching a third-party elimination, or you get eliminated due to not being able to find targets and Holoroth, and that could be that one make or break situation of not being able to catch that elimination because that person just scare rushing over and over. And who is it? DRG Fang with the dagger, right? What are you going to do against that? Ain't nothing going to be done.
What you going to do, huh? What you going to do? Where you going to go? How you going to win? I don't know.
Oh.
Well, that's something for you to figure out, buddy. What you going to do?
I just work here.
That's not how that works. You supposed to know why you work here, buddy. You're like, I don't know, man. I just wanted the discount.
I just wanted to run discount on Souls. Is that so hard to ask? I can't. Oh man, Fang picking up the Valiant Challenger though. This is going to be a good chance for him just to have everyone look at the location and be like, yeah, okay. I'm not gonna worry about that. We got to remember, right? These players have been doing this sometimes. Like it's interesting in the beginning of the season to the middle of the season for spring split, we are able to see how much the aggression happened, where the players finish off the fights by minute 5 sometimes. Yep. But now they're after season 12 dropped, they're like, and into now they're cozying into making sure this is the case of just holding up for final circle for final zone. And the players know themselves to kind of work off of that. But when the closer and closer we get to grand finals, the closer and closer we get to where the really big, the big things matter, right, is where they are going to want to play it safe, right? That's where we're seeing these V1 Shayos making their presence to be known into these into the latter half of the season and into the finals, where they're using ultimates that maybe not generational, position of being used often, but more so just the the utility of being able to catch opponents out when they don't realize it. V2 is such a highly potent, 1v1 type base skill, but in the final circles, it's really situational when you're catching targets off by one, and especially if they are hitting you and they land on the ground, right? There's not going to be much value off of it. But let's say you already are on the ground. Let's say they're already on the ground because it's final circle. Then you lock them out of it being able to have any potential of being able to do anything, locking them through the shield combo, and they can't do anything to break out of it. You're locked into that animation. The animation is one of the hardest CCs in the game, such as with Tumultuous, or even to the Tumult Wall, where you can't do anything to get out of it.
Plus, it leaves people very, very vulnerable, and that's the one thing that I think a lot of these players talk about, in the sense that you don't want to be in that vulnerable aspect in those situations, especially because you don't want to give somebody free vulnerability towards your weakness and your weak spots when it comes to this game here. And obviously there's a ton of it, and sometimes you have to really pay attention to that and be careful, and sometimes that can really affect you in certain instances. It's all a nice little bit of a fight here from Star and Fang, but not enough to really keep it going, as they don't really want to here. But everybody here relatively is qualified except for one other person, which they have to, well, they got to fight it out. They got to fight it out and hope that maybe if they pop out a little bit, maybe they can push someone else out of the finals. But as of right now, though, we have already found our top 6.
Yeah, people in the chat are like, dang, what happened here, man? My boy didn't make it through. And I'm like, it's big pain. Everyone's got to make a mention for X and to kind of come through here. And, you know, it's interesting because now CDY, you know, Tarka connoisseur, Duncan's like, yes, my boy. Yeah. He's kind of going out there, the oogly boogly, you know, coming through here.
Oogly boogly.
For CDY to come out. And now he's actually come through full circle for finals. And pre-finals is also going to be where we're going to see, you know, all right, what you guys got cooking up? Because, you know, pre-finals is where I like seeing pre-finals as well, besides LCQs, because it's kind of like a scrim, right? Because it ain't finals, right? You ain't taking all the cards are on the table, boom, on me, like, oh, you know, left hook to the side. But it's where the players are like, okay, let's just get our proposed points, right? But like, let's just, you know, scrim it out, you know, by the new patch. And now they're actually going to have a good chance just seeing and testing things out, and then if it works out, it means okay, now let's bring that into finals, and maybe they just pull out the Uno reverse card and force everyone out into chock full of action. But Moonbane spawning out here, everyone's separated out. We're gonna have the Cosm of Despair if anyone gets caught into launching
big
into the
section of the circle too.
Yeah, 80%. I think Raven calls it the 80% zone. You know,
80% like zone. Yeah.
Nothing is gonna be available.
Takes over the majority of the screen, man. So much of it. Crazy.
Big hitbox.
Big hitbox. Big old box. Like, yo, what? Big old box. Lord, is what they say, you know?
If a movie can make me cry and pray and laugh within an hour and 30 minutes, that's a good $20 spent. Wise words. Because that's what happens with a Moonbane. You know, you laugh, you can cry, you can, you know, hope to see no one get caught into it again. That's kind of the basis of it. But Spirwell is spawning in 4.5 minutes. But someone wants the nerve to activate the Forbidden Seal, and it's going to be GG Shaw.
Do it, Shaw.
The Chronicles of Shaw.
Crank open that book. Let's see what's also in there, huh? Show us another chapter. Chapter 8. The Reckoning.
The Reckoning.
I just want to know. I just want to know if the story, does it ever repeat? Maybe. This is Naraka. Certain things do repeat. As we've seen in many different moments of history in terms of this game here, we've seen a lot of moments of surprisingly deja vu. Like, have we been through this before? Yes, I think we have. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Wait. That was the wrong one. I had him. Wow. Somewhere there. But.
Good job. All right, we're done.
Oh, okay. All right. But even with that, though, still, so far, though, this has been very strong. Akame. I got to give it up to Akame, man. Even though didn't qualify to 14.5, he played his heart out, and I was really surprised by the amount of choices and the amount of picks that he chose for some of the games, honestly. He picked some very surprising, picks, especially early, and it really did kind of change the meta up in terms of, you know, people choosing the hotties, people giving hottie an opportunity, and trying something that I feel like not a lot of people probably wouldn't have done if it wasn't for them, you know, giving that opportunity and a shot towards that hottie and saying, you know what, let's try something really quickly. Let's see, you know, how that works, you know, in certain situations. And I think for that reason alone here, Akame really was kind of the trendsetter, I think, of tonight.
You know, and there's another person I want to shout out here, Shui Shi from FPX, because FPX Shui Shi, In the beginning, kind of the weeks 1 and 2, he actually did some wood footwork against even to the top players of Mike and T225, where he was actually catching them with his R&B with the long sword and going for those quick swaps. And it was the first time we saw it in the NBPL, right? Scrimmages aside, that's where we're actually able to see where his performance kind of laid down the footwork for what we saw even to today. For players to take into consideration of, using certain weapons with certain indications of the position that they got, uppercut, perfect. I can look for the 2-1-1 swap off of the longsword, and he was able to kind of show that off tremendously. And Paste as well, let's go down the list, right? But Paste has this opportunity for this chance where he's the man who can make the comeback hours. It's just unfortunate circumstances today, of course, throughout the state of play. But another thing about it is that Paste is someone who cannot be left alone into the dark, because he can shine the light through for another of these players, especially now into next season.
That's so nice.
Got the Paste.
I mean, you're not wrong, though. There definitely was a pace for him in terms of like where he was doing and how he was able to play the game. And I think for that, his setting was, really what kind of separated some of the other players. And also, like I said, it also gave that momentum for other players to kind of be brave and start to pick some choices and, not be afraid to do something a little bit different. And I think that's where that momentum kind of comes from some of these players, though. They played it so well over time here that I think it really did benefit a lot of them in such a great way, though. So it's good to see that, it still was a benefit for certain people. And clearly it was, as AS is going so high up in the air. How did he even get all the way up there?
Crazy height, dude.
Goodness gracious. Talk about flying high. Man's had flight. So high up there. Excuse me? That was insane. So high up there. Meanwhile, AS sadly is eliminated from G. Shaw. Timing of that as Akame just trying to keep it together here just a little bit longer. Star is able to try to see if he can capture the stun. Frostivus is able to cut it off. CDY holding on strongly just a little bit while longer here, as now they're going to be able to time that out just a little bit here. They're going to wait for the stun as they're able to at least get it off of him. It looks like one of them ends up getting stunned. A beautiful Tesla is going to be able to stop the stun off of this one. Oh, Star ends up getting pushed off of the outskirts. One of them ends up getting captured. Two of them on the outskirts trying to run around. CDY ends up getting eliminated towards that. Fang ends up capturing at least 2 to 3. Shaw running towards it all the way to the end here. Shaw ends up catching the elimination. Fang at least drops 3, potentially 4. Does he end the dub tonight for it? And most likely it probably is, though. I think he played that really, really well towards the very end here. The timing of that, but the capture of that with the chains to get the squeeze was insane. But it could be the first place, and it's most likely going to be Shaw, and he ends up getting the double